The day has finally come. This review is inevitable. The Olivia Rodrigo Sour review, because Sour's a really like good pop album. And I don't like pop music. I don't talk about pop music much on the channel, but it was nominated for album of the year, so I have no reason not to talk about it when I'm going through all of these albums nominated for album of the year. Let's talk about Sour by Olivia Rodrigo. Olivia Rodrigo absolutely exploded into the spotlight. Literally had never heard of her. Like, she came out of freaking nowhere to me. I've never seen the show Bizarre. I didn't grow up with the Disney Channel shows. I didn't watch High School Musical, the series. Like, what even is that? That sounds stupid, but apparently she's like the star of that. And then she released a song, and it was the number one thing on the Billboard charts, the number one on the Hot 100 for like a while. It was just a massive song. And I reviewed this song, and I reviewed Good For You, and I wasn't crazy about this song. I think it's definitely a good song, but it really is just a fundamental pop song. Like, it's just a fundamental piano ballad with the musical progression that is exactly what you would expect. Lyrical content, despite coming from the perspective of someone who's very young, that's a unique aspect of it. But lyrically, it really had pretty much nothing to offer, in my opinion, of substance or anything interesting. But besides the young perspective, like I said. But I said that kind of loudly. But the bridge is awesome. The bridge to that song is really good. And then you got this other song, this other single called Good For You. I don't remember if that was the second or the third single. I think it was the third single. But Good For You, I also reviewed that one. Link that in the description. Good For You is a pop punk song that, in my opinion, doesn't ever reach any really amazing moment like Driver's License. Like, that bridge is fantastic, and I don't think this song ever hits that moment, but it is a good song throughout the entire duration. It is, once again, kind of a paint by numbers pop punk song, but that doesn't mean it's not enjoyable, and pop punk is more enjoyable than the majority of pop music, so I'll take it. And then there's Deja Vu. Deja Vu is a pop song kind of in the vein of Haim or Haim, or however you want to say that, the Haim sisters or the Haim sisters. They do like I can't say that. Avant-garde, I don't know how to say it. Like more artsy, like alternative indie pop music. And it has that kind of vibe with these vocals and this kind of a trippy, layered production that hits after the chorus. And like, it's an awesome song. Like, in my first draft of my best songs of 2020, I had this song on that list because it's really good. I ended up knocking it off in favor of like a Modest Mouse song or a Sufjan song or whatever. But yeah, Deja Vu, one of the best songs of the year, and probably my favorite song on this album. It is a really cool, interesting, unique pop song, especially on a mainstream pop album, an album this popular and successful. It's cool to hear something like this. There's another highlight on this album that I really wanted to shout out, and that is Brutal. This song takes that kind of pop punk thing that you had on Good For You and just cranks it up to an 11. I mean, it goes so freaking hard. It sounds so like raw and like, in the most the most raw it can be, while also being on a mainstream, very successful pop album. Like, Brutal just goes off. Like, it's a headbanger. And I kind of love it. Easily my second favorite song on the album. Believe it or not, I'm actually happy with pretty much all of the songs on this album. Like, it's kind of remarkable. Even when the songs themselves aren't extremely ambitious, there's always something that keeps me interested. Like, on Traitor, the vocals are just so convicting and convincing, even though, the lyrical content might seem a little bit kind of, what's the right word for the lyrical content? Like, slight, like, not even trite, maybe. Like, she's mad that he found the new girlfriend so quickly, which is probably a very legitimate thing to be upset about. Like, I can understand, but in hindsight, that seems kind of like a small thing. Like, there's more serious things you could, but it's from the perspective of like a 17-year-old, so yeah, it's fine. That's fine. She's heartbroken. But where am I going with this? I pretty much like all of the songs. They all have something good to offer. I mean, Enough for You, the happier, the ballads on this thing, whether they're guitar or piano ballads, they all just work because of Olivia Rodrigo's performance. She has a lot of conviction. And there's musically, I think they also do serve a purpose. And like Happier, I think the lyrics actually come across very well. Um, Jealousy, Jealousy has really cool music and a cool kind of more grungy kind of dirty kind of vibe that's really cool. I mean, instrumentally, not lyrically. And then there's Favorite Crime, which just that's the strings, the instrumental flourish of strings at the end reminds me of like Fleet Foxes even at like I love it. I love that little touch at the end just kind of makes that song. Even though without it, it might be a more bland song, but that kind of, I think it's a good song because of that. That really makes it stand out to me. My issues with the album come in the form of one step forward, three steps back, and the last track, Hope You're Okay. One step forward, three steps back is extremely forgettable. Like, it's like press play, the song ends, and I've already forgotten the entire song, like immediately. And that's unfortunate because I think everything else has stuff that makes it stand out, either musically or lyrically or vocally. And I'm not saying the song is bad vocally, but it is just a forgettable song in my opinion. And then Hope You're Okay. Guys, this is a breakup record. All of the songs, like literally all of the songs are very clearly about this breakup. Like that's literally what all the songs are. But basically this song it's a song about gay people being kind of, like gay teenagers and her gay friends, I guess, being rejected by their parents, and it's a tragic song, and it's definitely not a bad song, but it doesn't make any it feels like pandering on the album, which I hate to say that, but it feels like pandering. It's like she's growing up in this environment where or she could be doing this out of a place of genuine love for her friends, on the I was gonna say on the spectrum, not on the spectrum. Her friends who are gay, and but like it it feels very like unnecessary. It feels odd. It doesn't fit on the album. It could be a single, and it would be a good single, and it would be good on another album. But on this album, as the final track, like this is some profound statement she's making at the end that has nothing to do with the rest of the album. It's I mean, narratively, it's even a good song, I guess. Like, it's more interesting lyrically than most of the songs, but it doesn't fit on the album. Hope You're Okay. I'm going to say it's a negative. Sorry. As a whole, guys, I do like Sour. This is this is a lot more in depth than most of my reviews have been because I actually really like this album. And guys, I was gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5, which is the same score I've given basically every single album I've reviewed for these Grammys. Like literally every single album besides the Doja Cat album and the Jon Batiste album, which I didn't like give a formal review to. I didn't give a formal score. I gave, and besides Donda, I gave it 3.5 out of 5. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen those videos, which I'll link in the description. But this, I just couldn't because I like this better. I love how it's 11 tracks, 35 minutes. It's so short and succinct compared to some of these other albums. Like it's over in a flash and I'm having a good time and enjoying it like the whole time. I think Olivia Rodrigo is bringing stuff to the table that proves that she's a promising new artist. Like I wouldn't even be upset if she wins Best New Artist, and I'm sure she will win Best New Artist, even though I was rooting for Baby Keem, and I'm still am rooting for Baby Keem. I think Olivia Rodrigo is going to win, and I'm not going to complain because guess what? Good album. And I'm giving it a 3.75 out of 5. Bringing back the old rating system that I try not to use because I think it's weird to do the point. Like I used to do it all the time, and then I was like, wait, this is kind of odd and unnecessary, but it feels totally necessary, and that's why I'm bringing it back. I did it for Porter Robinson as well because I really didn't want to give it a 4 out of 5 for whatever reason. Like, I really didn't feel like it was a great album. I felt like it was too messy, but it was too creative to just get a 3.5. I give that to albums that are sometimes not nearly as ambitious, so I had to give it a 3.75. I'll link that in the description as well, I guess. I'm not going to remember to link all these things. But as far as the Grammys go, I'm gonna give this like a what is it like a 20 5% chance of taking home the gold, 20% of getting album of the year. I don't know, man. Around that percentage. I think it's like the third most likely behind Taylor Swift and Billie Eilish. Um, yeah, 20%. 20% chance this will win. 1 out of 5. Let's go, Olivia Rodrigo. Good album.